So Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul on Netflix. This is a thing I never thought that I'd say. If you told me this a couple years ago, I would literally say that you're crazy. Like, that would never happen. If I had to bet on it, I would lose everything that I own, because I would put everything that would never happen. But today, here, March 17th is when I'm making this video. It's real. It's the promotion's real. It's not just something like on Twitter. This is a real thing that's happening now. Like, Mike Tyson is going to fight Jake Paul on Netflix, and that's what's happening apparently. There's been a lot of trash talk. Jake has recreated photos of Mike Tyson with the tiger, and yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I'll show it on the screen. Mike Tyson, he looks comfortable with the fact that he has a pet tiger, and like it kind of looks like the tiger's scared of Mike, right? And then you have Jake Paul, and his tiger looks like he just found its next meal, and he just, like, look at how spread out his arms are. He looks like he's about to shit his pants. If he turned around, it would be brown dookie stains everywhere. He looks like he's terrified, and it's because, like I said, the tiger's probably fucking scared of Mike. And Mike is 57 years old, and Jake is 27 years old. So that's a 30-year age difference. That's a whole human. That's a whole middle-aged human in between the age gap. That's crazy. But today we're going to be watching some of the training videos of mostly Mike Tyson, but some from Jake Paul too. And I think this is the craziest thing that has ever happened. So let's just watch the first video here of Mike Tyson training. I have a lot of different things to say about this, and I guarantee some of these predictions that I say will be true. So now here we see that Mike is still using that head movement, and I see a lot of people have said that he's stiff, and of course he is. He's old, but the power is still there from Mike right now. So I'm just watching him hit these mitts, and the worst thing, the thing that Jake is the worst with is pressure. I watched the Anderson Silva fight, and Anderson Silva is a counter striker and an MMA fighter, right? He's one of the GOATs, of course, but again, he's not a boxer. He hadn't really boxed anyone before that. He's a legit MMA fighter, but if Anderson Silva was able to pressure Jake Paul, what is Mike going to do to him? What is Mike going to do? And obviously, the way that Mike is training right now, he's putting in a good sweat. You see that on his shirt. And he's quick. People say he's stiff, but he's quick. And what is Jake Paul going to do about all this pressure? Mike Tyson doesn't train to back up, to take back steps. And Paul is good. He's very creative. He can use his body shots whenever he's able to dictate the pace, whenever he's able to make someone move back. And the only way that he's going to make Mike Tyson move back is to hit him with a hard shot. Very likely possibility, because, you know, Mike, he's pretty old now. Nothing against Mike, but he's old. He's still, you don't want to fuck with an old lion. That's the most important thing about this conversation, is you don't want to fuck with an old lion. And he's still putting in the work. He's still in the gym. He's doing a lot of strength and conditioning. But not only that, the way he's hitting these pads, it's with a lot of power, but I want to see him spar a little bit. I don't really want to see him spar because we don't want to see his chin checked. All of that stuff will come back. But if I could, I would like to see him spar to see what that would look like. But yeah, he's still looking like he's got good strength workouts. You got his coach here pulling it, helping him out. And I don't know what they're doing with all these, like, electrodes or whatever they got on him. But Jake was doing the same thing too. But let's move on to a couple more videos that I got stacked up here. We got that one that we just watched. And so I got a full video here of him hitting the mitts. And he looks deadly, guys. But like I said, I would like to see him spar, but I also don't want to see him spar. So here, the most important thing is Mike's head movement, right? In that GoPro footage, he looks like a fucking shark from National Geographic trying to bite some shit. Like, Mike Tyson, man, even this old, he's still beating up people on planes. He's beating up Roy Jones Jr. Watching his trainer take these shots, like, okay, put yourself in this perspective of the trainer right now. You have got Mike Tyson coming forward and hitting you with these punches every time that camera is rattling. I don't think Jake can take them. I don't think Jake can take those fucking punches for long. Not at all. I mean, we've seen Jake already get battered up by people that have not nearly the experience of Mike Tyson, man. And like Deji. You probably watched Deji growing up. The dude, what's his name? What's his YouTube name? Is it actually Deji? Yeah. He almost beat Jake Paul. What? Are we kidding? This is Mike Tyson. Okay, here we go. We got some sparring footage now. So we see all of its pressure. Mike is still able to slip punches. Slips a punch, slips a jab, goes in close in the clinch, pushes him out of the ring. And even the feints from Tyson are making this taller fighter back up. He's doing the right thing by using good training partners, tall training partners like that. Slipping jabs, going in with the 1-2. Wow, man. Okay, so that changes it a lot. I want to watch that again. I'm gonna watch that part again. So we got Mike Tyson. He is able to use his feint still and use his head movement. That was the one main thing. If he gets clipped with a lot of headshots, that feint for the head movement, I've said this in so many videos. Whenever you feint like this, it's not just to hit you with a hard shot or to get out of the way for a punch. It's also to advance your position. I have so many videos on that. Okay. Yeah, see, these shots, they are stiff. That's the one thing I could say about it. But he's old. And they still land with power. That's the thing. And this GoPro footage, they're still talking about how whenever you're in deep left or deep right, they're still talking about how you can get around to your opponent again. So the one thing that he's not doing, he's not changing the way he trains. And that's perfect because Jake Paul doesn't know what he's going to do with this pressure. The one thing I could tell you guys about shadowboxing or hitting the bag is moving your head and working on your defense. If you're moving your head and working on your defense, that's going to translate to whenever you go into a fight. If you're just practicing what you're going to do, what punches you want to use, then you're going to get lit up because you haven't been practicing the head movement in between those combos, what you're going to do in between. And Mike, what he's doing perfectly is he's slipping his head and he's moving, he's thinking like somebody is throwing punches at him. And the way he's going left, going deep left, boom, boom, I don't think Jake, once he gets in that corner, he's used to clinching. But that's not going to work because Mike is just going to move and hit him with some hard shots from the side. And even if they do get in the clinch, you don't want to be in the clinch with Mike Tyson. He's going to grab your arm and he's just going to hit you with those uppercuts. Or he's going to bite you. You know, the Mike is known to bite a motherfucker. Like, ask anybody. They got Evander Holyfield. He's got those Mike bites. He's paired with Mike Tyson. They're promoting biting ears. That's how much he likes biting ears. So we're done with that video. But I do have a looming question right now. Right? So I'm going to go with Mike Tyson versus Paul rules. Because this is something that I've seen a little bit of a gray area on. So I'm going to look at this real quick. Excuse me. 2 times. I owe you one. So I'm watching Give Me Sport. I'm looking at GiveMeSport.com. So it says, according to this, no headgear will be used in the bout between Tyson and Paul, contrary to previous speculation. It is still unknown whether the bout will take place under professional rules. So let me click out of this, and let's see what another article says, because you can't only trust one source here. Or you know what? We'll just search it up again, I guess. Mike Tyson versus Paul rules. So, from 1 day ago, Daily Express, we have got, what does this say? Mike Tyson receives warning from doctor after Jake Paul furiously clears up fight rules. Okay, so this is, according to this, it's like said and done already. Legendary former world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson has been warned of potential risks ahead of his fight against ex-YouTuber Jake Paul in Texas. Definitely going to see that one. Mike Tyson has been warned that the fight versus Jake Paul could see him suffering ruptured veins in his brain, and his opponent shut down rumors that they would wear headgear for the bout. Despite being 30 years a junior of his challenger, the man known as Iron Mike appears intent on defying the age gap this summer. So, the thing with head guards, I don't think it wouldn't make too much of a difference if they're throwing hard shots. Headgear is for light sparring, medium sparring. People think whenever you put on headgear you're invincible. If anything, whenever you're throwing hard shots, having that extra weight, if you don't have the right headgear, having extra weight on your head will throw your head even further and definitely rupture veins if you had, heavy enough headgear. So that is definitely something that I need to look into a little bit more. The announcement that Paul just, we'll go at it right there because I could read these articles all day, but all of them might be wrong. But we'll see. That's a very important thing that I need to know is if they have headgear, how many rounds is it pro, is it not? So let's move on to the next training video here. We've all seen how Jake Paul trains, but most important thing is how does Mike Tyson train right now? So here he is slipping punches, a little bit more sparring against his coach now. Slipping that jab, still using that peekaboo style. Oh man, he looks good. And every time he's throwing those shots, he's got those hands up in the right place. He's slipping right. Man, this is not looking good for Jake Paul. I'm not lying to you guys. And the jab. Anytime that Jake tries to land this jab, he's going to be discouraged and he's going to back up. Whenever you start backing up and giving Tyson space, that's when he starts closing distance with those hooks, those punches, that gazelle hook. Oh my god, the way he's slipping these punches is insane right now. I don't believe this. Like I said, this is the first time I'm watching this, and I didn't know Mike was still with it like this. I've only seen him hitting the pads and hitting the bag from the Roy Jones exhibition. I've seen a couple videos here and there, like a couple shorts that he posted, but I haven't seen this sparring footage. He is backing up the taller, younger boxer right now. Gets hit with a couple shots, but still closes the distance and tucks his head into the chest of his opponent. And the reason that Mike can slip all these punches, a very important thing I haven't talked about yet. In the Anderson fight, I saw Jake loaded up a lot whenever he was throwing a barrage of punches. And not only that, he keeps his chest open. Rather than staying shelled up as a boxer and throwing your barrage like, having your chin tucked and everything, he throws them like those wide punches even more awkward with his chest out. And what the problem is with this is Mike, he doesn't look at you in your eyes. He looks at you right here on your chest. So he can see these slow movements in your shoulders or these fast movements in your shoulders and see if you're going to throw a punch. Like if you don't have this guard up, right? If you don't have this here, you're going to be able to see that I'm throwing another punch. Instead of it being here, it's going to be here. So it's unavailable. It's unavailable to hit if it's from here. Like, you're going to have to pop it out really quickly. That's what a good boxer is all about. Popping it out from here rather than going around with more awkward looping shots. And that's what Jake always does. And he keeps his chest exposed and he just swings with these wide punches. And Mike is going to be able to capitalize on that 120%. But this sparring footage has definitely convinced me that he's going to hurt Jake Paul. At least I hope so, because Jake, he can sit on his punches sometimes whenever he is walking you down. Whenever he's walking you down, he can sit on his punches. He can hit you hard. But, man, the experience. There's a whole 30 years in between these people. There's a whole grown-ass man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he's been fighting ever since he was 16, fighting people bigger than him, underestimated him. So, I've seen enough, guys. Seeing this sparring footage, I really don't have to break it down anymore. If Mike takes this seriously and implements the same game plan that he's beat everybody with, he should be able to walk through Jake Paul, and even if it's not a knockout, it'll be a long fight and a long, painful fight for Jake Paul, at least in my eyes. But that's all I got to say about it. People always ask me on my live streams, what do you think about Paul versus Tyson? I said it was stupid at first. I didn't want to think that Tyson was going to lose. But after watching some of this sparring, we'll see how he handles getting hit with some hard shots. But I will never bet against Iron Mike Tyson. And to give Jake, his credit, I want you guys to strip him of everything that you've thought about him before. And this is what I usually do when I'm analyzing a fight. Jake Paul has managed to fight MMA fighters, legends, NBA players. He's been able to fight a whole plethora of people, and he came from the Disney Channel. We got to give him his credit. He's now fighting the best, most well-known boxer of all time, and he's done it all because everybody hates him, and everybody wants to see him lose. And whenever he does lose, he just puts on a better fight, a better name, a bigger name, and he manages to pull it off. So you got to give the dude credit when credit is due. He is a great businessman. He's an all-right boxer, and the most important thing, he's capable of learning. And no matter what happens in this Mike Tyson versus Paul fight, I guarantee you that Jake Paul will learn and become a better boxer after this. That is one thing that's guaranteed. And I don't like his personality at all, or I definitely don't like Logan Paul, but I will give them credit where credit is due. They are great businessmen, and they know how to sell a fight. But anyway, guys, I could talk about this. I can make a part 2 on this when we get a little bit more information, a little bit more sparring footage. But yeah, guys, thank you all for making it to the end. I think that Mike's going to win, probably by knockout in round 3. Knockout in round 3. I don't think Jake, even if he doesn't go to sleep, he won't continue. But there is a high possibility that Jake could win just because of the age gap, But that's all I have to say about that. What do you guys think about this fight? Do you think it's stupid? Do you think that you're actually interested in it? And most importantly, who do you think is going to win? And who do you think is going to lose? I know most people are going to say Mike, but how about this? Tell me how you guys think Jake could win this fight, and what's next for Jake after this. And one thing, I want to end this off. This is actually a lose-lose fight for Jake Paul. If he wins this fight, he proves that he beat a legend of the sport, right? But he proves nothing. He beat an old legend that, he's been preparing still. Mike Tyson's still Mike Tyson, but he's not proving anything. If anything, he's just ruining Mike Tyson's legacy and making people hate him more. So I really wanted to talk about this because this is super important. If he beats Mike, I think it's worse if he than if he loses. If he loses this, then everybody's going to say, ha, you got beat by 57-year-old Mike Tyson. But I think the best thing that could happen for him is if Jake loses this fight. Like, for his career. Because if he's known as the dude that beat old Mike Tyson in a boxing match, everybody's going to hate him forever, no matter how good he gets. He's going to be the dude that beat up old Mike Tyson, and that'll be the worst thing that'll ever happen to his career. But what is your prediction? I think he's going to get knocked out in round 3 with a left hook after a lot of pressure. He's going to be thrown into the corner a lot. He's going to be hit with a lot of uppercuts, a lot of close, short punches. Whenever he goes into the clinch, he's not going to have any time to rest. And I think Mike's going to do what Mike always does, slip those punches, slip that jab, give him a lot of things to think about, and close that distance extremely and deadly accurately. I think that Jake Paul could win simply by being confident and pressuring, knowing that he's going to outlast the chin of Mike Tyson. If he can find the chin of Mike Tyson, he will be able to rock him eventually. He's 57. He's almost 60 years old. We'll see. Hopefully they load Mike Tyson up with all the steroids in the world. Jake Paul needs to find a way to set up a power shot, whether that be use the jab to try to throw the right hand. But many have tried and many have failed to fight and hurt Mike Tyson. Some have succeeded. I don't think it'll be Jake Paul. But thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. If you liked it, let me know. If you want another video like this, let me know. If you have a suggestion, anything like that. Thank you for making it to the end. And yeah, guys, give me your predictions, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.